Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for SYS-CON TV. I'm sitting here at Cloud Expo, Silicon Valley. That's our 7th Cloud Expo. I'm with Ahmar Abbas, CSS, and our friend here, Ahmar. What actually is he, she, it doing here?
Well, that's our mascot for tech support for dummies. Everybody knows the For Dummies brand. They've got books and material that help people solve problems, understand different components. So one of the offerings that the folks have is something called Tech Support for Dummies. And essentially that's an offering where users can log in and essentially dial into a help desk and ask for any support for any of their consumer products. So they may have an iPod, they may have an iPhone, they may have any a Zune player, TiVo, so anything that they want help with, they log on to Tech Support for Dummies or dial the number.
Any which way they can
any which way, right. Now the interesting part about Tech Support for Dummies is that, as you can imagine, it's a consumer-oriented product, so you can have thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of users. So it's actually a pretty good application to build on the cloud, because you're not 100% sure when you'll get the spike in usage.
You don't even know where. You know nothing.
Exactly, right. So, and obviously you're running marketing campaigns, and that'll drive traffic. So you want to have a very scalable infrastructure in place. So what we've actually done is build the back-end infrastructure for that on the cloud. It's got phenomenal scaling capabilities. It also has the ability to tag along new products and new applications very easily. So as we expand the offering, or as we look at supporting different technologies or different ways of supporting technologies, the platform is very extensible and available for that kind of expansion.
So a good use case of cloud computing and a nice validation for you guys.
Absolutely, I think we really enjoyed working on this project, and again, the scale end of it is really what's really exciting for us.
So why don't we drill down into that a little bit? You talked about the spikiness, we talked about the scale. Is that for you the key driver of this huge rush to the cloud?
It is one of the key drivers. Obviously, applications that have what you would call episodic usage, up and down, up and down. That actually is a very known and understood use case for that. But I think even more important is really how quickly you can get access to the infrastructure. That is probably as equally important as the ability to spike and have that infrastructure available for you.
Okay, so the speed of provisioning it all is also key.
Correct. Absolutely.
And what about, now in that example it doesn't arise, what about security? I mean, obviously that's one of the themes of the conference, it's always going to come up, but let's hear that from your CSS perspective as well.
I think the way that you handle security is two components, right? One is really from an infrastructure perspective, how you utilize the security parameters that are available to you from your provider, as well as what additional security that you can put in yourself. There are virtualized firewalls that are available right now that you can essentially use and really have your own firewall beyond what your provider is providing you, so you can really lock it down. And the other way to look at security is on the application itself. Right? You architect the application to make sure that it is secure. If you're storing data, you make sure that you encrypt it. Some basic sort of activities like that you can build into the application that mitigate some of the issues that may come up. And
what kind of client list is going on now? I know that you're doing the Dummies series. What other kind of clients have you got? That seems a rather nice one to land as a sort of flagship client.
It is a very, very interesting project for us. The other area that we're seeing a lot of traction is in the kind of the ISV space, your software providers, right? So they've built a lot of package applications. Traditionally, you go in and you deploy those applications in your premise. But what they're finding is that they always have a kind of an on-demand competitor that's kind of eating into their business. So they have two options. They can go and completely rewrite their application and make it an on-demand SaaS sort of application. Or they can leverage the cloud and actually have single-tenant on-demand implementations of their existing application without any recoding or reformatting. And we're seeing a tremendous amount of interest in that. We already have a couple of ISVs that we've already got onto the cloud into this model. and some of them we're actually literally seeing, uptake of 20% a month on their product offering. So,
well, congratulations on that. What's been going on with you guys over at the booth? Busy?
Quite busy. Obviously we were in the New York show, and that went actually quite well for us. And we're kind of seeing the same sort of traction in this show as well.
Same type of customer or different type of customer?
Different type of customer. I think people here probably are a little bit more technically oriented compared to in New York, where we felt there was probably a little bit more management layer, and also time has kind of made the question a little bit more sophisticated, right?
Well, the managers were in New York trying to find out if it should be done, and the techies are here in Silicon Valley figuring out when and how.
Exactly. So
back in New York, let's see what happens there.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the event in June. And again, the questions that are getting asked now is becoming a lot more sophisticated, right? So security is obviously a good, important concern. Getting a little bit deeper into, well, if you can burst in the cloud or you can do auto-scaling, what does it really mean? What do I have to do to my application to make that happen? I mean, it sounds really nice and theoretically, but
in practical terms.
Right, how does that actually happen? So again, obviously we've got a very good, example to talk through with our clients. So far, so good.
All right, well, we continue to wish you the absolute best. As you say, we'll see one another in New York in June 6th to the 9th, and I hope we'll see everyone out there actually in New York. Let's say goodbye, the three of us from Cloud Expo, Silicon Valley. Oh, we can wave. Yeah, he's waving. Bye-bye.